Hey everybody, welcome back to another Bucs at Work. My name is Alan Gorman. I'm the chair of the Department of Management and Marketing. Joining me again is Kaylin Peterson. Kaylin is a senior in marketing at ETSU. So we have another very special guest with us today on our Bucs at Work. And I'm going to take just a minute to introduce her, and then we're going to ask her some questions. So I'd like to introduce you to Alicia Phelps. Alicia is the executive director of the Northeast Tennessee Tourism Association. Let me tell you some really great things about Alicia. She's a lifelong resident of Northeast Tennessee, currently serving as the executive director of the Northeast Tennessee Tourism Association. Her career began with Emory and Henry College, where she worked in public relations prior to being named Director of Tourism and Marketing for historic Jonesboro, Tennessee. She received her undergrad degree from Emory and Henry, graduate degree from King University, a tourism marketing professional certification from the Southeast Tourism Society, and is an Appalachian Regional Commission Leadership Fellow. She's active on several tourism, community, and event-related boards in the 8-county region of Northeast Tennessee. She also serves as an instructor for the East Tennessee State University and Northeast Tennessee Tourism Association Hospitality and Tourism Certification Program. That's a mouthful. Under her leadership, the Northeast Tennessee Tourism Association was named the 2019 Tennessee Destination Marketing Organization of the Year. Congratulations, Alicia. Her research interests include continuing operations on her family farm, genealogy, hiking, and running. She's also a self-proclaimed adrenaline junkie. In her downtime, she can be found at car shows, taking back roads, hiking, paddleboarding, or kayaking throughout Northeast Tennessee. So awesome. Welcome, Alicia. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So let's just start off with an easy question. Tell us about yourself and your background.
Yeah, well, you've done a really good job of reading my bio. So that's pretty much about me. I grew up in Northeast Tennessee. I have lived in several different areas of Northeast Tennessee. I'm originally from the Bristol area. I went to Emory and Henry College for undergrad and originally wanted to go to school to do the news. I wanted to be an on-air news reporter, a news anchor, and probably in, I don't know, gosh, in my senior year at Emory, I decided to take a different route and go into public relations, and primarily because I wanted to stay in the area. So I ended up, and here I am somehow in tourism. And when I was in college, definitely didn't know that there were people that did what I do. So that's always something that's interesting. You know, you don't really know that there's people out there promoting destinations and what a huge industry it is. So also went to King College. At the time, it is now King University, for my graduate degree, and also worked at Emory and Henry College in their PR office for a while before I somehow ended up as the tourism director and marketing in the town of Jonesboro. So that's what jump-started my career, and now here I am with all of Northeast Tennessee, which you just can't get any better than that, promoting the place where you live and grew up in.
Yeah, that's got to be awesome to be able to promote the town where you're from, right? Who else to know better than all the great things about Northeast Tennessee than someone who grew up here?
And I learned. It seems like I learned something new just the other day. I learned about a new hike over at the South Holston Dam. I mean, it's so crazy. You learn all these new little, hidden gems, and you almost don't want to tell anybody, but it's your job.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's one of the phrases I keep hearing describing this area as a hidden gem, right? I've heard it a lot since I've been here that, we don't want everybody else to know all the great things about Northeast Tennessee because we want to keep some of the beauty to ourselves. So, but that's how I often hear it described as a hidden gem. So tell us a little bit about your work with the Northeast Tennessee Tourism Association. How did you get into that, and what are some of the things that you do?
Yeah, so our organization has been around since the late 70s. And we represent on paper, we represent the 8 counties of Northeast Tennessee, but we also work very closely with our neighbors in Southwest Virginia. And the 8 counties of Northeast Tennessee geographically go up through Greene to Hawkins and Hancock, and then all the way over to Johnson and Mountain City area and everything in between. So there's 8 of them. But we also work with Morristown and Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg, Sevierville as well. But it is our job to basically promote the area as a place to come on vacation, or a place to conduct business, or a place to have a sports tournament, any type of group gathering, anything that, causes you to have to travel. We want you to come here. So it's our job to do that. I work with a lot of the cities, counties, municipalities, and then pretty much all of our counties and cities too have a tourism department. So that's a great help to me. We are one of 8 entities in the state of Tennessee that represent an entire region. So the whole state's divided up into 8 different MEs, and we're the oldest one. And so we were really excited to receive that Destination Marketing Organization of the Year award. That's literally against a lot of the big players. And so it was awesome to have us take that home. We also work with businesses. So it could be anybody from as big as Bristol Motor Speedway to Carnegie Hotel to ETSU, even to Gabriel's Christmas, which is a small store in downtown Jonesboro, and we assist them with marketing, business consultation, working towards them being a tourist destination in themselves. So that's pretty much kind of what we do in a nutshell. We produce 2 publications each year. We have a website, northeasttennessee.org, and we are all the time looking at analytics, watching the traveler, watching kind of the local, what do people want to come here and do? What do you all think is our number 1 hook?
The outdoors for me is, as far as one single location that has everything right here, you can't beat this area for outdoor recreation.
Yeah, I was going to say mountains. I was going to say the mountains. I mean, that's it.
Yeah, we have over 280 miles of the Appalachian Trail. We have over 240 miles of rivers, lakes, streams, you name it, and it is the outdoors. But what makes my job easy and hard is we're not known for that one thing. People come here, yes, primarily for the outdoors, but we also get people coming here for history, for genealogy research. We get people coming here because we're remote, no crowds, less traffic. So we see a lot of that. We have family activities with Hands-On Discovery Center in the Gray Fossil Site. I mean, that's one of the only places in the country that has an active fossil dig. So it's a variety of different things. And, we can even imagine for a while, we were leading the entire state of Tennessee in craft breweries. So I don't know if we still are, but they pop up everywhere, and now craft drinks. So it's from food to drink to outdoors, family fun, history, culture, and then let's not forget music and racing. Bristol Motor Speedway, known internationally, yes, and then it's one of my favorite places. And then the birthplace of country music was born here. So I've got a lot of things to work with, which makes my job fun and then also really hard.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit. So we're housed in the business discipline here at ETSU. Tell me a little bit about your thoughts around the business of tourism in East Tennessee.
So tourism is a big business, even though you may not have realized it until you hear from me. Each year we grow. And so in 2019, our industry, well, let me ask you all, what do you think? How much money do you think people spent in Northeast Tennessee in 2019? And I'll give you some kind of guidelines here. Obviously, before the pandemic, we are among the top 5 regions in the state for travel. It's in the millions, and all of that money literally goes back into the communities. So it goes to fund school projects, roads, you name it. We are putting that back in. So how much do you think?
40 million.
I'm going to go with a 25 million.
That's cute, guys. It's actually $911 million, almost a billion.
Wow.
So yeah,
That's crazy.
crazy. What's second largest industry in the state, second largest in our area to agriculture being number one. So tourism is a big time economic driver. So, while it may be you may feel, a little, I don't want to see all these visitors come in here. If we do it right, and we do it smart, and we work on preservation and sustainability, it can help our area grow where it needs to grow. So.
Excellent. I did not realize it was that much. That's a big number. So what do you love most about your job working with tourism?
Well, that's tough. I love working in rural tourism. I love small communities who haven't reached their potential and they're still searching to find that hook. And so that's where my experience with the Appalachian Regional Commission has been very helpful in designating and finding kind of what works best for each community. What is that unique asset? Because each one of our towns and areas, they have their own little personality, and it's great. That's what makes us sell. So I love that. But then I guess my favorite part is, rarely am I sitting here in the office. A lot of times I may be out on a video shoot or a photo shoot or hosting a writer, working with the media, going and visiting these communities. So I'm really lucky, I guess, when I say that sometimes I can be hiking the Appalachian Trail in the morning and then going and eating at Monsoon's Thai, which if you all haven't been to that near Mountain City, amazing. It's Thai food and I guess in a trailer.
Oh, wow,
Or,
maybe
I'm four-wheeling or paddle boarding. I do have to do these things to be able to sell it. So, I'm very lucky with that component, and I try not to, post too much on social media and say, look what I'm doing today.
That's awesome. Well, given what you love most, what's your least favorite thing about working in tourism?
It is really frustrating, I think, educating others, and it's our job, to do our own PR, to tell people the importance of tourism. It's an underfunded industry in our area that performs. It's the performance of 911 million annually is insane. You were surprised to hear that number, but it's an industry that's underfunded sometimes and underrecognized. We have counties that they don't recognize their true potential, and it's very frustrating. So that's probably something that might keep me up at night, is how can I help them see what's a tourist draw for them, whether it's hiking or biking on back roads, or just being remote and cut off with no Wi-Fi. So that's something that probably keeps me up at night.
How much of, I've seen some articles on various sources about a lot of these big companies right now their employees are working remotely, right? And so I've seen a lot of advertising around, come to Northeast Tennessee. If you work for a bank in New York City and you're working remotely, why not come here and do your work? How much of that are you seeing, and is that making an impact?
So the WFH, which I just learned, Christy over the airport educated me on what that means, work from home. That's a term that's not going to go away. That's a term that was starting before the pandemic hit anyway. So we have a lot of communities that are really investing in their gig and their Wi-Fi and the availability of people to work from wherever they are. And so we have seen a lot of people traveling to our area because it is safer. You are able to social distance here. But yes, their number one requirement is, what's the Wi-Fi situation? What's the cell service situation? And we do have some areas that they don't have that. So we're not going to tell them to go there and work, but we're going to go tell them to go there and play. So a lot of our larger cities in the area do a great job at that. And then we have some that are really investing, especially like in Irwin. over at USA Raft Adventure Resort. I know they really bumped up their Wi-Fi there. So could you imagine, doing a Zoom and like, this is my office today. It's the Nolechucky River. That's kind of cool. So we see that as something that is not going to go away anytime soon. It's only going to get stronger. Some investment in that is huge, and it not only helps our industry and tourism, but it helps kind of the quality of life and encouraging people to even move or retire here.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question, is retirement. How much of an impact are you seeing with retirees coming to this area?
Big time, especially during the pandemic. We don't have state income tax, first of all. So, we see a lot of people from northern states. We see a lot of people from, Florida in particular, a lot from New Jersey, New York, areas like that, who do have a higher cost of living. They are like, whoa, I can come to Tennessee and live in these mountains or on the water and not pay an income tax. And, I don't have to sit in traffic to go to the grocery store. So that's big. That's increased so much more. I'm sure you all have seen, now I used to say when I see these out of state tags, I'm like, hi, you're a visitor. Thank you so much. And now I'm like, I don't know. Are they moving here? It seems like the past few months, it's really increased. And so our inquiry, which would mean people calling, emailing, or requesting information on our website, is daily. It's huge. So we are, mailing out information, helping folks hopefully make the right decision to see if we're a good fit for them.
Excellent. So I'm going to preface this next question by stating that we've been in discussions and talks in our college, in our department, around trying to come up with a hospitality and tourism management concentration, which I'm really excited about exploring. And Alicia, I know you've been very integral to helping Darby and Dr. Heiss explore some of the opportunities there, which hopefully I'll say this, given COVID, we've kind of had to press pause on that for right now, but that's definitely at the forefront of some of the things we want to explore. But given what your knowledge is around hospitality, tourism management, what are some books or articles or resources that you would recommend to folks who are interested in getting into this area?
Yeah, I'm really excited about the development with ETSU for a hospitality and tourism focus on some things. I think moving forward, I love it. If I had only had that when I was in school, I just, and we have the professional certification that we oversee with you all as well. And it was interesting this past semester, half the class are high school educators because they're starting to develop hospitality and tourism as a class in our local school system. So what a great building step that is to see a career, and then you could go on and further your education with that. So there are all the time little case studies. I love to see success and stories to learn on of different communities. I'm all about reading those. But I'm sure somebody's probably already said, and you're both very familiar with the Stephen Covey's 7 Habits series and the books that he does. Anybody looking to move into a leadership position, which hospitality and tourism is, when you become a director or a CEO or a president of an organization or a company, that book is fantastic. It teaches you how to work with people, and that's what it's all about in our industry anyway. So love that book. And then I just pulled actually from my office, because we are in Appalachia, I think that this book, Uneven Ground, is great. It's by Ronald Eller. It does get a little long near the end, but if you're looking for a history of Appalachia and why it is the way it is, I definitely suggest at least trying to read half of the book. And then another one is Rise of the Robots by Martin Ford. Have you all heard of it?
I've heard of that one, yeah.
So I actually had to read it for Appalachian Leadership Institute last year, and I'm a techie, so it talks about Google cars, and a lot of these things in this book have already happened, and it's crazy, it wasn't even written that long ago, but I like how it looks at the advantages, disadvantages, and the effects on humans and our culture and our communities as we adapt to, you know, just different ways of living. So that's a fun book as well.
Excellent suggestions. Thank you. So let's say that one of our students, and we have several students, I mentioned Darby is, you know, she's very interested in hospitality, tourism management. If somebody is interested in that field, what's one thing they should be doing right now to prepare?
Networking. So I send Darby often, and I know you all would be mad, I sometimes will send her a job announcement. But you know, we have interns, and I work really hard to try to get them in the industry if that's where they want to land. But whether you are already working in a restaurant or a hotel or at an attraction or shopping, networking is key. You never know who you're going to sell something to. You never know who you're going to run into at an event. And it will make all the difference. I couldn't tell you how many stories I've heard. Oh, I just literally ran into them at, you know, having dinner, and I recognized them and I said hi. It really makes a difference. That's huge in our industry. I would say it is kind of hard to get into sometimes because people that get the jobs and the tourism marketing roles in particular, they don't tend to leave because it's a fun, fast-paced job that doesn't have like a normal routine. So you know, a lot of times you'll see people move from different cities, but they still stay in the industry. So I think getting your foot in the door, finding out, oh, so-and-so knows so-and-so, I think that's great. And also just kind of working on what can you do best. So the students that I work with, are you a really great writer, or are you a really great designer, or can you do both? Like if you're really good at something, keep it up. Work a little bit on the other as well, but sell yourself. So, you know, if you can write good, say, hey, I can be a fantastic blogger. If you're great at photography, we're going to love you. So I think just making sure that you are a fine-tuned and rounded individual. If you're not comfortable speaking in public, if you're not comfortable giving presentations, if you're not comfortable taking complaints from people, it may not be the best for you. So, you know, that would kind of be my advice to see if it's a good fit for you.
Yeah, that makes me think of another question. Given the interaction that you have, I'm sure, with lots of public officials in your role, how much of an understanding of state government, city government, county government, is it important to understand how all those things fit together?
Yeah, for sure left that one out, and that's a big one. That's something that I just kind of had to learn as I went. You know, everybody takes, you know, probably takes a law, regulation, or government type class in college, but you don't know it until you're in it. And so, and that's another thing with the networking. But yeah, you definitely need to know how the government works, how laws are made. You know, we are very instrumental, our organization, in advocating for our area in Nashville. So you need to know how to do that appropriately and how to go in and get some work done and get what you want to accomplish. So that's big, and it just increasingly goes, and it goes all the way down to on a smaller level to your city councils. So, you know, it's a large scale from senators to governors, all the way down on the local level.
So speaking of government, what do you think the impact, now that the vote on the Bristol Casino has passed, how big of an impact is that going to have?
Yeah, I mean, you can look at it two ways. Obviously, we're really excited in the tourism industry to have another asset to work with, and one that's going to, you know, really put us on that map even more. But then you also want to make sure it's done correctly and it affects the community in a positive way. So, and I know that they will do that. They've definitely done their research. So we're looking forward to it. And, you know, the casino is on the Virginia side by just a few steps, but that is going to not only affect all of Northeast Tennessee, because folks are going to be coming in to see the shows, to shop, of course, to take part in the casino. But maybe they don't want to stay at Hard Rock. They may want to go stay in a cabin out in the middle of nowhere. So we're really excited about it. It's going to affect all of us and folks, you know, up to 2 to 3 hour drive even. So touching into North Carolina, Virginia, Kentucky as well.
Awesome. So imagine knowing everything you know right now, right? If you were back in school, what is one thing that you wish that you knew way back then? What do you know now you wished you had known way back then?
That's tough. I think the experiences that I've had to date have kind of rounded and developed me into my way of thinking and how I conduct myself and how I do business. So I really wouldn't want to change any of that. Experience is an experience, but I will say the first job or the first internship that I ever applied for, because I applied for a lot and I didn't get a lot. It's very competitive, but the first internship I ever applied for was at the Bristol Chamber of Commerce, and as an intern there, unpaid, I think even. And I liked it because I was from Bristol and I loved it and all that. But I didn't get it, and I was really devastated and mad. And I think I kind of shooed off anything that had to do with marketing at the time. And just like community relations. And I kind of wish that I would have not done that and focused a little more on, because here I am in this industry and I deal with the Discover Bristol program all the time. So, and we laugh about it now. I wish I had got that job there. But I think that's maybe something that I would have told myself then is, don't get so upset if you don't get the one thing. If you make one bad grade or you don't get that one job, if you don't get picked to do this, it's not the end of the world. It's just something that's going to prepare you for the future. And so it may happen for a reason, it may not, but and you may be really glad you didn't get something because something else opened up. But that's probably what I would tell myself.
Excellent. Thank you. All right, I'm going to toss it over to Kaylin to ask you a couple of questions from the student's perspective.
They're not too daunting.
I'm nervous.
I've got 3 questions as we've been talking that have kind of popped up into my head. My first one's going to be, what are you all as your one industry, but also personal entity doing as far as social media goes? Because I haven't heard that mentioned.
Yeah. So my favorite thing is marketing. So whether it's print, radio, media, TV, social media is number one. That's my favorite thing. So every day I'm looking at analytics, stuff like that. We have a reach in the spring when we last calculated, we have a reach of well over 10 million. So everybody's watching what we do, whether you live here or you live, in another country. So we are on all social media outlets except for Snapchat. We're even on TikTok. So, and we're dipping our toes a little more into YouTube now. So that's our main hook. We also advertise in some print publications too, but digital marketing right now is big time, and I love it. I get really excited on seeing all the data and the analytics and seeing, okay, we're doing well in Florida, now we need to go over here in Georgia. So it's fun to watch that come to fruition, and then you start seeing the visitors come from those areas. It's great to watch that kind of go in full circle.
What's y'all's Instagram handle?
All of our handles are at Northeast 10, TENN.
Awesome.
We're also on Pinterest. And I will say, for anybody that's into marketing, Pinterest is where it is at right now, especially for travel inspiration and blogs. So I encourage you to start that. And I know it's a little bit more geared toward a female market, but Pinterest is where we are seeing some big time growth.
Awesome. Thank you for that. My next question, entrepreneurship. I would definitely say that I am more of an entrepreneur. What ways do you see growing for the future market, especially as us college students? What should we be looking at market-wise?
Yeah, so we love local artisan type things. We love people who are home brewers, home distillers, anything like that. Food and chef. We just love featuring folks who can put their own flair on things. So whether you are an artist and your mural all of a sudden ends up downtown, Or if you're just really good at running a business and you want to open a shop or something like that, I think it's a really rounded mix. But as long as you can put your own spin on something, as long as you make it you and you make it unique to the area, that would kind of be my advice in success, because it's hard being an entrepreneur. It's hard starting up a business, especially in a pandemic. But downtown Rogersville in the middle of a pandemic has seen at least 4 restaurants open. So it's really weird and it's hard to project, but you've got to have that hook, and you have to make sure you're not opening up, a fine dining establishment in the middle of nowhere that's really great with barbecue. So know your market.
Awesome. Thank you for that. My next question, what are your views and thoughts on fiber optics and the growth of that market?
Big. Let's go. We are further apart, but we're more connected than ever, and that's cliche to say. But in our industry, even though people say they want to get off the grid, they are not comfortable without having that connectivity. So An investment in that is an investment in so many things. Yeah.
Do you see our area doing that, investing in those ways? Awesome.
Yeah, I see some, even Johnson City is a great one to look at. Irwin, Bright Ridge, it's coming. Appalachia is a little bit behind sometimes on some things, but it's coming. We got to be patient, but for sure, you got to go that way.
Awesome. Those are the questions I had for now. Back to you, Gorman, in the newsroom.
Thank you, sir. All right, we'll close out with one last question, Alicia. What are you most proud of in your career?
Well, let's see. I would probably, there are 2 things. One, I'm most proud of our hospitality and tourism certificate that we've developed with ETSU. It took a long time of planning. It took a lot of chatter, to get it going. And it's been absolutely rewarding to be an instructor with that program and literally watch people's lives change. We had one girl that she took the class and she said, you know what, I've been at this job for 10 years. I don't see any way for me to go up a ladder, and I'm going to go for a big job somewhere else. I'm like, well, as long as you stay in the area, which she did, but it's been great watching people develop as professionals. So I love that. But then another rewarding aspect is just watching these businesses tough it out and grow, and watch them see what works for them and become a success, sometimes overnight. So that's it, that it changes every day, but it's just great helping the community.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Alicia. We look forward to continuing to working with you on our hospitality tourism management concentration. So we're going to pick up that conversation as soon as we can. But I want to thank you for joining us today on Bucs at Work, and I appreciate your time, and thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Anna. I can't wait to hear more about Kaylin's entrepreneur goals.
Kaylin's got a lot of goals. All right. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Kaylin. Thanks, Alicia.
Bye.